Hi, everyone. I'm Zara Altair, and I write the Argolicus Mysteries. And today I want to talk about how the very first Argolicus Mystery came about. I was doing research on early 6th century and reading the letters of Cassiodorus so I could mark it and mark passages and just trying to get a general sense of what was going on under King Theodoric. And I read the letters of Cassiodorus. It's a collection of his letters from various periods of time during the Ostrogoth reign in Italy. And I came upon this passage. Um, It's in section 3, letter 46, for those of you who are scholars, in Cassiodorus Varii, King Theodoric to Adeodatus. The crimes of subject are an occasion for manifesting the virtues of princes. You have addressed to us your petition, alleging that you were compelled by the spectabilis Venantius, governor of Lucania and Bruttii, to confess your guilt of the rape of the maiden Valeriana. Overcome, you say, by the severity of your imprisonment and the tortures inflicted upon you, and longing for death as a release from agony, being moreover refused the assistance of advocates, while the utmost resources of rhetoric were at the disposal of your opponents, you confessed a crime which you had never committed. Such is your statement. The governor of Bruttii sends his relatio in opposition, saying that we must not give credence to a petitioner who is deceitfully seeking to upset a sentence which was given in the interests of public morality. Our decision is that we will, by our clemency, mitigate the severity of your punishment. From the date of this decree, you shall be banished for 6 months, and on your return, no note of infamy of any kind shall be attached to you, since it is competent for the prince to wipe off all the blots on a damaged reputation. Anyone who offends against this decree by casting your old offenses in your teeth shall be fined 3 pounds of gold. And all who are accused of the same offense in any place or time, but who've offended through ignorance, are to be freed from all fear of punishment. Okay, there's a footnote, a most illogical and unjust conclusion by which the judgment of Venantius is in fact neither upheld nor reversed. And what the meaning of the concluding sentence may be, it is impossible to conjure. So I read that and I went, okay, nobody could figure this out. Who better than our hero, Argolicus, because he was forming in my head. I also found him in Cassiodorus' letters. Who better to solve this mystery of why this was such, one, a strange sentence in the beginning, and two, that the reversal was so strange. And guess what? It has to do with politics. And so I wrote The Used Virgin, which is about the maiden Valeriana and the governor Venantius and other characters who all appear in the story. And voila, the first Argolicus Mystery, The Used Virgin. So the very first Argolicus Mystery really doesn't have a murder. It's about the killing of a reputation, and it is the reputation of a man called Adeodatus, who is mentioned in this letter. So I thought I would um, read to you the beginning of the Used Virgin, um, the first chapter, Politics No More. Argolicus was finished with Rome and its rumors, innuendos, and backhanded backstabbing. He was finished with politics. At home and retired, he was enjoying the afternoon sun at his estate in Squillace on the tranquil bay of the Ionian Sea beyond the harbor. Trade boats bobbed in the water, waiting to carry oil, wine, cattle, or horses, either up the coast to Ravenna or Rome. A lone horseman cantered up the road from the bay. From the kitchen, he heard voices and murmurings as his mother held her daily counseling for slaves. Perhaps someone was pregnant or grandfather's hips hurt too much for him to walk. And close at hand, Nicholas was reading aloud from Herodotus, expounding on the origin of Egyptian gods. Soon it would be Argolicus' turn to read aloud to his lifelong tutor and receive the usual slight corrections to his pronunciation. It was a deceptive false spring day in February. The sun was out, the sky blue, light puffy clouds floated across the sky in a gentle wind. Green grass, herbs, and shrubs covered the landscape. The horses, sheep, cattle, and goats grazed and browsed, soaking up the sun. In the prune vineyards, he thought he saw light shining through a few red leaf buds. Let those Roman patricians suffer in the snow. This was the place to be. Nicholas continued on about the possible origins of Zeus and Heracles and the belief systems in Athens and Egypt. A sudden clattering on the stones of the courtyard jerked him from his doze. He had just enough time to compose himself before the doorman came through his study out under the portico to announce, but there was no announcement. A tall young man with very intense blue eyes rushed past the slave to greet Argolicus. Eremuth! Argolicus immediately recognized his childhood friend by his intense blue eyes. How is your estate? He asked with a smile. The man was about his age, early 30s, a Goth, but dressed in a Latin tunic. He was just as large as Argolicus and towered over the doorman who had been robbed of his traditional protocol. Their fathers had been friends, and somehow he was related to Argolicus' mother, but no one was sure how, and now both of them were fatherless, just over 30 years old, and making their way in southern Italy. The estate is quite prosperous, thank you. I heard you had returned from Rome. I'm so happy to see you after your years in Rome, he enthused in the Gothic language. Have you returned to bring civitas to the south? Argolicus chuckled. I have no such intention. I'm here to run the estate and take care of my mother. Perhaps I will find a new wife. Do you know of someone? No, not that I can think of. Eremuth paused and then continued. But I need your help. Rather, my neighbor, Adeodatus, needs your help. I'm a little rusty on the farm matters, but I'm certain Nicholas can find something in his herb garden to help. Is it a mare having trouble? A goat whose milk has gone sour? No, 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 nothing like that. This is serious. Ebermuth turned his blue eyes to gaze far out across the sea. It seems impossible, but it's true. Ebermuth, what is it? He paused, fiddled with the belt around his tunic, gulped, and then stated, Adeodatus has been accused of raping a virgin. Nicholas looked up from his book. The doorman, who was retreating, stopped still. Silence filled the small garden. Adeodatus? Argolicus was stunned. Adeodatus was renowned as a conservative who imitated the old Roman virtues, trying in a slightly judgmental way to bring culture and civility to a south far from Rome. Argolicus had quick flashes from childhood, a slingshot, a wounded rabbit, Adeodatus sending him to make amends, meeting a sobbing Julia who later became his wife, and having the courage to tell her he had wounded her pet. Adeodatus had taught him responsibility and justice from an early age. No wonder he had been his father's friend. But this is unthinkable. Even politicians in their most evil intent refrain from this accusation. It is like deliberate murder. It's so black an aspersion, it taints the accuser. Who could make such a claim? Well, that is why I came to see you. There is no normal recourse. It is the governor himself, Venantius, who made this claim and holds him prisoner. I've retired, Argolicus claimed with a sigh. Nicholas folded up his book. Okay, that's the beginning of The Used Virgin. And Argolicus makes up an excuse to go visit the governor Venantius. He wants to buy a new stallion for their herd there on his estate, and things unfold from there. So if you haven't read The Used Virgin, it's a very quick read. I think you'll enjoy it, and you'll find how this centuries old mystery is solved. All right. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time with more information about the Argolicus Mysteries. And if you love the Argolicus Mysteries, please support me on Patreon. The link is down below, and I'll see you soon.